Sspopiikimi. Ita Mixkanatani. Good morning. It is maybe 9:30 in the AM on Sunday, October 3rd, 2021, in the lunar cycle Awakasikitsum, the deer moon, but just in the last round or two of it. We're going to be transitioning beginning of the week into Itotshtui when cold arrives, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got snow. It's not too cold right now, but maybe 12-13 degrees out here, and I just finished my regular Sunday morning walk and talk here at Sspopiikimi. Haven't taken the camera down here for a bit. I gotta apologize for the wind, but it is what it is today. I figured I'd bring the camera along because for two reasons. One, been getting a lot of protest about my YouTube content. People are like, where's the old Ryan, Nature Ryan, all that. Nature Ryan never went away. You know, I just been showing you different aspects of different things, and it's my journal, so it is what it is. But in any case, maybe I'll pump up a little bit of nature content for those of you who've been waiting. Show you what's going on out here right now. I also have a new class of agriculturalists, farmers, who are going to be taking my phenology studies for the year, starting with this new moon. There's about 40 of them, I think, enrolled in an online course with me, and so for them as well, I want to do maybe a little bit of weekly content, maybe a video a week out here, mostly at Sspopiikimi, but maybe at some other sites around the city. So yeah, I want to show you what's going on here today at the walk and talk this morning. Well, I'll get to that, I guess. But my big thing out here right now, my big study, is to see how the wildlife out here responds to these really drought conditions that I've never seen here at the pond. I don't know if you see behind me here, but all of this bottom milfoil and soil is exposed in big patches. I mean, I'm essentially walking right now on what should be pond bottom right now. There should be water coming up above this, and in a normal year there would be. And indeed, as we close into winter every year here, the water's a little low, but in how many years have I been studying here? I don't know. I've been coming out here probably 15 years on the almost daily, and I've never seen the water this low. And going into winter, I don't know what that's gonna mean. It's been low most of the summer, and I've been concerned about it. I think at least some portion of the turtle population, the painted turtle population of this pond, I think some portion of them moved into the Old Man River over the summer. There were lots of turtle sightings and photographs by city residents and stuff along the river, so pretty sure that's what happened. I don't know how the fish were affected. I know the herons stuck around here a little bit. Normally the herons would still be here, like right now, kind of feasting and stuff, but I think they probably cleared out a lot of the pike and pike minnows that were here, so they're not around. Some of the shorebirds still are. I mean, so much of the water is gone. Yeah, I gotta wonder how that affects, you know, all of the underwater life, the Sspopiikimi. Have our usual kind of array of remingling mallard families. The drakes have come back to their wives, and now fairly sub-adult children, and they've begged forgiveness for their summer forays with the boys. leaving their missus single to raise the babies. Yeah, that's how the drakes are. I see here right before me some indication of recent maybe raccoon activity. Where's that mark? Here we go. And right up here. I mean, it could possibly be beaver as well, but I'm not seeing the big hind print I normally associate with the beavers. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of the beaver, this morning when Carol and I, my student of several years out here, went for our walk, we saw the beavers at work over here, making themselves a food cache. So this is the time when the beavers should be starting to make their winter food caches. Like I say, we are entering the first winter moon. And I'm curious again how this particular family is going to fare this winter, you know, given the low water. Geez. That wind is pretty bad. I'm going to shut off for right now. Here we have one of the last dragonflies of the season. This one's days are unfortunately very numbered. One of the things that we noted both in the summer, through the summer and this morning, Carol and I, was that there didn't seem to be a lot of bullberries or a lot of berries around in general, like the red osier berries, the bullberries. You know, there's always lots of choke cherries. For some reason, choke cherries are in abundance and nobody likes them so much. Probably that cyanic acid content, but nobody likes them so much that they get over harvested. But everything else kind of does. And this year especially, like, I don't see any bullberry patches. I haven't found any that I'm gonna pick, and normally somewhere in the coulees here there will be some. So one of our kind of thoughts, and I don't know if this is the case or not, but one of our thoughts was, because we had noticed all summer long, and even now, the low numbers of insects. It's that darn wind again. Since there was so few insects this summer out here, you know, we barely even had any swallows stick around, anything like that. So it could be that those birds that can vary their diets a little bit ate up as much berries as they could because they didn't have the insect content they normally would. That's one of the thoughts. I'm right here at the Beaver Lodge again. It's like this morning. You can see the start of that food cache. The reeds poking out of the water. Yeah, I've never seen the water this low. So again, I don't know how that's going to affect the beavers. I don't know how it's already affected all of the Sspopiikimis, all of the underwater beings here. I think, like I say, the turtles moved over, but some of them. But who else? Probably some of the giant water bugs had to move. I don't know. Kind of walking along the shoreline here, seeing what I could see. I did notice one turtle head popping out of the water this morning. I'm kind of hoping as we walk along that I can spot another one, because I'd like to show you that there are at least turtles active here, and that there's still some remaining, you know, after such drought. And they're hardy enough. I don't think they'll have a problem, you know, surviving the winter, because they're just going to burrow under the earth anyway. But yeah, all of this stuff is some of the things that I'm watching this year. Here we have, who do we have up ahead here? Oh, the yellow legs, I think. See if I can spot it here. Lesser yellow legs. Yeah, we mostly get killdeer, spotted sandpiper, lesser yellow legs as our small water birds here at the pond poking around. Oh, we got something under the water here too. We might have a turtle action. Hold up, I think I see a head. Oh yes, I did see a head. So hold on, we're probably gonna see some turtle here in a moment. Painted turtle, Sspopiikimi. That's why I call this place Sspopiikimi, the turtle waters. I don't know, I'm gonna pull back from the water edge maybe. I'm liking it down here. I just think that because I'm down here, the wildlife is kind of keeping a buffer. Like all the ducks are keeping ahead of me a little bit. The shorebirds, the turtles are diving under where they would normally maybe stay on top even as I pass by if I was up on the levee path. One of the things to pay attention to, I guess this time of year, something that you can use for your training to teach yourself about this place, to recognize the players, is to look at all the, look at all the colors, because different plants turn different colors this time of year, and you can see who's around you at a distance by those colors. You can actually do that year round, but it's especially easy to do, this time of year when the colors, to our eyes become so seemingly brilliant. The other day, or maybe a week earlier in the week even, I was down here and all along this levee's edge, it was bright yellow because of the dogbane, okay, the hemp Inuksopis, the little rope. Oh look, I think we got killdeer on the other side, as I spoke of before. I'll see if I can get one of those guys in the lens finder. Oh, it's taken off. Guess not. There's still the yellow legs over there. Anyway, yeah, there was dogbane all along here that was just golden, and then I could look across into the wet meadows and see all of the dogbane there. And why is it important to be able to spot from a distance what plants are in the area? Well, I can think of a lot of different reasons, but one of the things that oh, here's one of a final grig of the season too. A little, we had a very grasshopper heavy year here in Sspopiikimi, and I showed that in some of my YouTube videos and stuff. It was almost biblical, the amount of grasshoppers we had, but like the dragonflies, they are all gonna pass. This is their final bit of the round of life. So that one's lucky to have another day. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you should be able to identify plant patches at a distance. A lot of reasons I can think of. For instance, for me, one of the most brilliant plants going into the winter here is the wild asparagus. And so if you want to plan, the wild asparagus shoots are of course delicious, and if you want to get them right away at the beginning of the season, when they're coming out, you need to know where the patches are. And the best way I've found to do that is to identify them in the winter when they turn like almost this neon orange. I'll show you. We'll definitely pass some as I go along here. Still looking for turtles. I'm going to shut off the camera for a moment. It's a bit of a closer look at that yellow legs. Sspopiikimi. This is a bird that gave somebody enough power in the past that they created a Blackfoot name out of it. Sspopiikimi, that still remains today. Yellow legs is a family name now on the blood reserve. So, one of the questions, of course, is what is it eating? And there's intrusive ways of finding out about that. But I'd be interested in ideas for non-intrusive ways. Biologists, of course, would, catch some of the birds and open them up and find out what they're eating. Western biologists. But what are some of the other ways we might sort that out? All these ducks that have been keeping ahead of me as I've walked south along the western edge of this pond. Now they're probably going to eventually take flight here and move back to the north end. Wanted to show these logs, or these old pillars of the old boardwalk here that many people have photographed the painted turtles basking on, are really almost out of the water at this point. The shoreline is just right here, whereas it would normally be like way off over here. This morning, Carol and I saw muskrats who are living in this little canal, just in here, I suppose. We saw muskrats here feeding on milfoil just off the side. Sound is important. Who's making that sound? Some of the shorebirds. But I'm not familiar with that sound. I wonder if it's another shorebird that doesn't visit very often. I am noticing turtle heads here in these waters. I'll see if I can show you some. Let's see. Are you a turtle? I think maybe you are. Yeah, I'll be able to see it better on video, but pretty sure that's a turtle. And there are others who've been popping out. Here's one close, I think. Let's see if, oh no, where is it? my late friend Narcissus used to be so amazed at how I'd spot these animals. Oh, look who we have here. One of the resident meat Sspopiikimi, the muskrat. Who I was talking about before. Considered a delicacy. Enjoyed as a delicacy in the Blackfoot diet once in a while. I know a lot of people think no paws and claws, but I don't know. It's not what some of the elders said a long time ago to the ethnographers. Not that they told them everything correct, but they gave them some pretty decent notes. And on the muskrat, that was part of it. But also the importance of the muskrat deriving from the flood story, where the muskrat was the only one able to dive down and pick up some earth from beneath the flood and bring it back up and recreate a land environment for all the Sspopiikimi, you know, the land beings who were kind of stuck at the top of the mountains. Napi. So the muskrat was able to do that, and as a result then it is the most powerful kind of or one of the most powerful kind of cleanses. So in ceremony you'll see muskrat skins being used even by like the Oka, the holy woman at the Sundance. That's the only thing that she can clean herself with, the muskrat skin. And if you have something, deeply troubled you, that you need to have cleaned out spiritually, again, the muskrat is go to somebody with a beaver bundle with a muskrat, and you can have that done. Just looking out here from the south, parts of the old boardwalk. This oxbow, of course, this used to just be a regular old oxbow of the river, and then it was turned into a park and wetlands with the creation of this levee circling around the entire thing. Still fed on this upstream side by the river subterraneously, but the waters are low. We've had a dry summer, and again, I don't know how this is ultimately going to affect all of the animals here. We'll see. I'm taking advantage of the low water here to walk through what is normally the wide south pool. I noticed here we have some of this, what do they call this root? It's a kind of plantain, I think. This arrowleaf plantain. It's an aquatic plant, but the root is supposed to be very good. And I didn't know we had any of it, or much of it anyway, at Sspopiikimi, so it's kind of cool to see. I'm not going to try to pick the root because there just aren't enough examples of it here that I feel good doing that. Sorry for the wind again. I was curious. I left a Christmas wreath up on this island for potential use by one of the geese as a nest base, but I don't see it. Perhaps it was not used. They might have even thrown it, gotten rid of it, pushed it out of the island. Oh, look at this. In the sunlight, you can really see the colors on some of these ducks. Yeah, I'm going to show you what I mean about the plant colorations here coming up. Even this red, this kind of red stemmed plant here, that red jumps out to my eye. I don't see it or know in that plant, but maybe some kind of a pigweed, very low pigweed. But now I'm going to want to find out. There's still a lot of plants here that I don't know their identity. Still a lot of learning to do. But color can be one of the ways that you take notice, for sure. I wouldn't have even probably paid attention to that little thing if it wasn't for the color that it displays, you know, on the ground. So too, the wild asparagus, which we're coming up on now as we exit the South Pool, come to kind of the wet meadows proper. And wild asparagus is just asparagus that has, you know, rewilded. I mean, asparagus was probably wild to begin with, and then, you know, domesticated and now rewilded. So it's the same as you get in a store, basically. And but when you get it fresh, like right off the ground and stuff here, it is really delicious, like so juicy and stuff compared to what you get at the store. So here's an example of some asparagus. Right now, very, very green. Hey, it's gonna turn as we go into the winter more and more like this. Hey, this yellow kind of neon color that you can see at a big distance when it's at its full coloration. So you can spot patches of asparagus. You can just cruise through the coulees all winter and find all the good patches and have them, you know where they're going to be for when the shoots come out. That kind of a thing. You can also just look at your environment from a distance, you know, and see kind of what's kind of berries. You know, I can tell looking over at this stand from the colors that there's bullberries in this stand. So if you know your plants, your resources by color too, you know, it's going to make life more efficient for you if you're living with the real life, which, you know, what I'm going to find interesting, what I'm also interested to learn, I guess, this winter with my studies is through my teaching, how the farmers in southern Alberta are going to respond to my kind of Blackfoot-centric ecological science and perspectives. I think they're going to probably challenge me because they're out on the land every day, and once they get looking, they're going to see a lot. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be some good discussions, and yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of talks about all kinds of very interesting topics around how we as human beings engage with these places. But to think that we've stopped, you know, that you know, we should stop paying attention to color or something, the kind of lessons that I'm talking about today, We don't need to see whether the berries are such and such from a distance right now. Just go to the store and buy them. And to some respects that's true, but that's your luxury. Somebody's out there making those berries for you, and those people got to know the lands. So I think this kind of knowledge and just learning to recognize everything around you, akakios, and that high level of that crow or magpie-like level, corvid-like level of awareness of who's all in your environment and what they're up to, is worth having, regardless of the times, because you never know. We could just change on over again and need that muskrat to come dive down and grab some earth and recreate something for us, because you never know. Big catastrophes happen too, so it's just the way of reality. This forest in here, like Sspopiikimi, is going through hard times. This forest burnt a year ago or so, and I'm also kind of watching its recovery. That's one of the other things I've been studying, so I'm interested to see how many of these trees survive another winter without the cold snapping them. But if we don't have that much cold, and which of these trees is going to send up, which of the dead trees is going to send up new shoots, and what's going to happen with this dead wood, hey? How soon is it going to come tumbling down? I got lots of questions dealing with the fire. The undergrowth and stuff does not seem to have been, all that strongly affected. I haven't noticed myself any big changes in the plant community of the undergrowth. So, but the trees, we didn't get a lot of our avian life, I think, here because of the condition of the trees. We normally have a lot of yellow warblers. We normally have a lot of tree swallows. We used to have western kingbirds, but we still have eastern kingbirds, we still have cowbirds, we still have robins, we still have starlings, we still have house wrens, flickers, downy woodpeckers. We didn't get this year our sapsuckers that we had been getting the years before, because the willows that they had been mostly harvesting, the diamond willows, were taken out by the fire. So that was an absence of the summer. But yeah, a lot of the birds really weren't around. The yellow warbler population was way down. Orioles, there's maybe one couple here. There's normally 3 or 4 in the forest main. The tree swallows, as I mentioned before, weren't around. Some of that could be food resources because the insect population was low, like I said. But it could be a combination. The exposed forest, the low insects, the burning of the forest itself might be a reason for the low insects, So that's some of the stuff that I'm kind of looking at out here, keeping my mind trained on. Although when you train your mind on one thing, you're gonna miss some of the others, and that's kind of juggling you got to do. Learning with these places is like if you decide on a focus point, you lose track of other things, and you can experiment with this. Try to keep a broad awareness of your environment. Like a lot of winters, well, not a lot of them, but several winters, I tried tracking coyotes, in the snow. And when I could visually see coyotes, they seem very like always taking note, eh? They would go just a little ways, stop and look around, listen around, and you know, very aware, I think, of a lot of what is going on around them. And certainly they'd see me from a distance, note me from a good distance, and take off running a lot of times. And so experiment with trying to keep that kind of awareness, and yet at the same time going and doing some task. Like the coyote is hunting, at the same time he's keeping that awareness. If you try to go harvest like berries or something at the same time as keeping that awareness, good luck. Because what I found is focusing in takes that broader awareness away. So there's got to be a balance point. I don't know what that is. But that's one of those kind of things like that you can strive for but never fully realize, I guess. Well, I guess that's gonna be it for my little walk around for the morning. Hopefully the wind wasn't too much an impediment on the video quality, but we'll see when I get to editing. I'll put it up anyway and hear the wind haters howl. But yeah, have a good week, y'all. And this is what's shaking at the pond right now at the moment.